Hey everybody, it's Bryan, and you are listening to the Course Building Secrets podcast. Whether you're a coach or a CEO, the success of your team and clients is based on your ability to deliver a consistent experience and guide them on the fastest path to results. This podcast will give you practical, real-life tips that you can use today to build your online experiences that get results and create raving fans. Why? So you can monetize your expertise and serve more people without adding more time or team to your business. If you're looking to uncover your $1 million framework, package it, and use it to scale, you're in the right place. Let's dive in. So happy to be talking to you today. So I want to talk today about why winging it is never going to get you ahead. So often we talk about launching or starting before everything is perfect. And I 100% agree with that, right? You have to take action, and by taking action allows you to really get more clear and kind of hone in on the process that you have. So you have to get started. But there's a difference between strategically starting and launching something and just bumbling around in the dark, hoping that if you throw something out there, it will stick. And I want to talk about the difference today, because I think that there's confusion about kind of how to strategically look at the big picture of what you're doing and then strategically move forward without having all the answers, without having everything perfect, and just starting, just like, throwing something out there and seeing what sticks. Because I've seen a lot of entrepreneurs do that, and then they're disappointed. They're disappointed when they create something that nobody wants, or they're disappointed when they create something that people want, and then it's a hot mess once they have a bunch of people in it, right? And so then you end up with all sorts of Band-Aids instead of actually, addressing where everything is gushing, right? So I want to talk a little bit about that today to hopefully eliminate some of the confusion around, how do you strategically look at moving forward without having everything figured out. So this is prompted from, I had a conversation the other day with an IT person at one of the consulting companies that I'm working for. And literally, it was like setting up my email or something that's very, very basic for most companies who are dealing with external partners who come into their organization. If they want them to use email and their email system, typically this is sort of a standard operating procedure, right? Like they have a way that they get people connected, and then they just do that. Well, the problem is that this guy either didn't have the procedures or didn't know what to do. And so we were on a call to get the email set up, and it was like he was sort of just making stuff up. He couldn't see my computer. He didn't have a standard way to help. He didn't know the steps, and so he was struggling. Well, let's just see if we can figure this out. I think it may be this, I think it may be that. And so literally sat on the phone for, it must have been a good 40 minutes, where he was just sort of throwing things out there for us to try. And at the end of the call, I said, I just think that we need to just reset my password. I think it's just not updated. Well, I can't do that. Okay, well, why don't you find out how to do that and then call you back. So he did. He called back 24 hours later, still didn't really have a new answer, but had gotten a new password for me. So we tried the password, and lo and behold, that worked. So my point of this story is, if he would have just taken, even 15 minutes or a half hour before we got on the phone call and either researched or found some sort of procedure or talked to an expert at his company, he would have been able to put together a succinct set of steps that honestly he could have just given me, but he could have put together some steps so he knew how to walk me through what to do on my computer to set up email. But he didn't. He just got on and sort of willy-nilly tried to think about things that he could do. And I think that this example is just illustrates how sometimes we do that, right? We say, oh, well, we're going to, do this program, or we're going to teach this thing, or we're going to, have a session, and you're just sort of throwing things out there and saying, oh, that didn't work, let's try this. Oh, that didn't work, let's try this. Oh, that didn't work, let's try this. Instead of really just spending the time to map out ahead of time what the steps were that needed to happen to get from point A to point B, and then be able to troubleshoot within those steps, to overcome obstacles within those steps, but not like make up the steps as you're going. And it is two different things, right? Like, you don't have to have all the answers. You don't have to have all of the things defined before you get started. But you really should have some sort of rhyme or reason to what you're doing. People are coming to you because you're the expert. I called the IT department because they're the experts. They're the ones who have the knowledge, the experience, and the ability to help make something happen, right? Because that's their job. That's what they are there for. And so the assumption is that they have those, tools or resources in their toolbox that they can then pull out and help make things happen, right? Like, there's a huge difference between saying, well, I'm going to somebody who I know isn't an expert in the topic that I'm researching, or that I want to do, and I'm hoping that they're going to be able to help me. We can figure it out together, right? Like, that's different than saying, I'm an expert, I can help you do X, Y, and Z, and then showing up and trying to figure out how to do X, Y, and Z with the person you're doing it with, versus, kind of predefining it. So there is, a huge difference between just sitting down and mapping something out ahead of time and then exploring how you deliver it, right? Or how you can give it to somebody as efficiently and effective as possible to help them go faster on their journey, right? Because again, people are paying you. People want to work with you because you can help solve their problem. You can help solve their problem faster than they can solve it on their own, doing their own research and trying to figure it out. So I could have gone to the Microsoft website. I could have gone to their documentation. I could have watched a YouTube video. I could have researched other people's SOPs for how to do this. I could have done all of those things, but I went to the company's IT department because I wanted the fastest path to how to do it in their environment, and assumed that they had experience with this. So I kind of chuckled because at the end of the second call, when we finally got everything set up and it was working, he said, oh, this is so great. I'm so glad that we got this figured out. And, now I'll be able to kind of, help somebody else in the future. And I'm like, well, great. I'm glad I was your guinea pig. But I did mention, I said, great. Now, the best thing to do is to actually document the process you went through with me, take some screenshots, and then you can actually give that to someone in the future. It's going to save you a ton of time. It's going to save you the sort of the chaos of having to call somebody back and potentially become irritated with you or frustrated because you don't have things in alignment. So think about that story as you're thinking about your next product, your next course, your next thing that you're putting out there. Is don't wait until it's perfect to launch 100%, right? Take action before you're ready, but have that strategic vision or plan or step-by-step or whatever it is you want to call it, have that mapped out first, so you are able to clearly articulate with the person or the people that you're showing up for how to move through the process faster, how to actually, have you as the expert lead them versus kind of showing up and saying, okay, great, what are we going to talk about today? Or, what are we going to do today? Or I'm actually in a group right now where I do feel like they're sort of planning out what they're going to do monthly. They don't have a specific path for how they're helping people or how their expertise is shining through to lead somebody down a path faster, right? It's there. it's just not clearly articulated by themselves, and then also, clearly articulated to the people they're working with, so they kind of have the confidence and have that ability to sort of relax a little bit, right? Instead of guessing, when you're learning something for the first time, if you think about it from a learner's perspective, when you're learning something for the first time, there's the not knowing, the information and the steps and the techniques and all of those things. And then there's sort of the anxiety of not knowing, right? So when you're working with someone who gives you a path that's clear, then you look at it and say, okay, so I don't know how to do this yet. I don't have all the answers, but I have the ability to look at this path and know where I am at all times and know that I am progressing. Know that I am making strides in the right direction because here is the path in front of me. So I don't have all the answers. I can kind of relax and say, that's okay, because that's why I'm, working with this expert or this set of experts, because I know that they're going to give me the confidence, the clarity, and the tools to be successful. So don't discount that sort of peace of mind that you're giving people along with the ability to figure out how to do the thing that you're teaching, right? Because that's when it becomes, super important as you're looking at creating that structure. So one of the things that I help my customers do, because you may be asking, great, well, how do I do that, right? Like, how do I map that out ahead of time? And sometimes it's literally just sitting down and thinking through the process of, if I'm starting here and I want to end here, I want to get these results, how do I get there, right? What are the steps that I need to do to get there? And sometimes it's as simple as that. Other times it's a little bit more cloudy because you are an expert. You do it so automatically that you don't think about it anymore. So consider, like, if you're driving to work or you're driving to kids' school or wherever it is that you drive on a regular basis, a lot of times you'll actually get there without thinking about getting there, right? Because it's so automatic. That's how your expertise is that you just know it so well and it's so natural to you that you don't even think about how you do it. It just is something that you do, either because you've done it so often or because it's something that's just natural for you, which is why it's your superpower. And so sometimes it's more difficult to kind of figure out how to sit down and do the steps and figure out what the cleanest and clearest and easiest path is for someone else to follow. And that's when we do our VIP strategy days, because we literally can map it all out in a day. Because I don't know about you, but there are times when I just crave to have that time that's just dedicated to figuring that out. Because a lot of times what you try and fit it in small pieces, or something else comes up, or you're distracted with something else. And so it just, not only is it difficult to do sometimes if you don't have that clarity, but it's also, you need to carve out the time. So when we do our VIP strategy days, that's what we're doing, is we're literally mapping out your course, your process, your step-by-step, whatever it is that you're helping your customers do to get from point A to point B, getting that all mapped out, getting that clarity, getting that sense of just sort of confidence that you have something to put into play. And then from there, it becomes easy to start to execute, because you have the clarity. You say, oh, well, I just need to focus on building out step 1, and what do they need for that? And then I have clarity to build out step 2, and what do they need for that? It becomes so much more clear and helps you to keep running forward and get that sense of, this is what I need to be successful. Now I can go out and sell it and start to execute, because you have that clean and clear path. And so if you're finding yourself in that place, definitely feel free to reach out. Or, if you feel like you can do it yourself, have your own VIP day. Put it on the calendar and schedule it, and get some flip chart pages, get some Post-it notes, and literally just spend the time getting it out of your head and onto paper, and put together that path. If you go back and listen to some of the podcasts earlier on in season 1, I talk a lot about how to do that, how to map out your process. And so go review one of those podcasts if you want to put together your own VIP day. If you want us to help you, kind of get that out of your head, save space and time for you to be able to do that, in the show notes, there's a way to just contact us. So feel free to do that. And that is something that we help our people with all the time. So, all right, there you go. There is your course building secret for today.
I hope you enjoyed today's episode. The best thing you can do is to take action on an idea or tip that resonated with you. To help you take action, I have a free gift for you that you can download in the show notes. During each episode, we publish an action plan worksheet and other helpful takeaways from our speakers in the Course Building Secrets Creators Lab. To register for free, click on the link in the show notes. Enjoy! Hey everybody, are you a business owner ready to streamline and scale your business? Imagine solving the biggest business challenges with clarity, a strategy, and a clear plan. Hey, I'm Bryan, and I want to invite you to take the first step towards transforming your business with a free 30-minute discovery call. This call is an opportunity to discuss your goals, identify key challenges, and learn how my mentorship program can help you achieve the success you're aiming for. In just a half hour, we'll explore how you can scale your business by enhancing your authority strategy, engagement strategy, and retention strategy. You'll get personalized advice and a clear path forward. Ready to take the first step? Click on the link below that's in the show notes to book your free discovery call now. I hope to talk to you soon.